If you have back pain and want quick help, then you are in the right place. I have Eddie with me. Eddie doesn't have back pain, but Eddie will demonstrate the exercise for you, and I'll explain first how our understanding is that back pain develops. Because Eddie could also have back pain because Eddie sits a lot doing computer work. But look, briefly explained, when sitting both legs are like this, and there is an important muscle called the hip flexor. It goes from here over the groin, a part goes into the pelvis, to the ilium, the other part to the lumbar spine. And when we sit constantly, then the body thinks, oh, this muscle, it can be so short. And then it adjusts the tension, the fascia changes. All of this is known from fascia research. And when you stand up again, a force pulls forward because this muscle tends to be shorter and no longer wants to give in. And then the back extensors and the gluteal muscles have to pull back so that one stays upright. And now you can imagine, if something pulls here and something pulls against it there, then it pulls the intervertebral discs together. And all these signals go to the brain, and the brain calculates, oh, the intervertebral disc is too stressed. And then we suspect, this still needs to be confirmed by studies, but we suspect that then the brain sends a pain alarm, and ultimately it is supposed to protect the intervertebral discs. 2 exercises that can solve the problem at the root of our understanding. The first one, when we sit, go into a seated position like this, Eddie, then the angle here is like this. When you are straight, the angle is neutral. And what do we have to do to compensate for sitting? We have to go in the opposite direction, namely backwards. Attention, Eddie. Place both hands on the lower buttocks, pull in the belly button, and push the groins forward. Yes, push forward and come back further.
And tell our audience what you feel. I feel a pulling sensation here in the front.
A pulling sensation in the front. On the stomach or groin, where does it hurt?
It pulls into the groin.
This is typical for the hip flexor. Exactly the muscle that I just explained, you can feel it in the groin because it runs through the groin. Does it also pull into the back?
No.
Go further back. Always further? Yes, always further.
Now.
Now it pulls into the back. Now you can feel the muscle area, according to our experience, where I explained earlier that it connects to the upper back. And now, as we see it, we're at the root of the whole problem. Always lean back and now stay close in like this. We already have 1 minute gone, but we need 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I'll give it a try. I'll give my 100%.
Keep going further back, yes. And with that, we simply pull the long one that is too short. Simplified image, non-scientific level, simply for you to understand. The part that is too short, causing problems, is stretched out, thus gradually reducing the pain. What one trains oneself through sitting, one can train again through this exercise. This is how we see pain therapy. And in most cases, that can help. Now we have 1.43. You still have to hold on for 15 seconds now. But it works, you get used to it, it gets easier and easier. And you might also see Eddie overextending more and more. In the beginning, it was much, much less, and that is what the muscles already gave in. Now you're slowly coming up again. Exercise number 1. Now, as I had explained, everything behind has to counteract. And that makes exercise number 2. Eddie, stay still, feet parallel. Yes, maybe look not like this, but a little more like this.
That's what I am doing.
Okay, and now just lean forward, straighten your knees, and place your hands on your thighs, and keep leaning forward more and more. You can slide down a little more here with your hands, more and more. Now it probably pulls back here, right? Does it also pull in the back of the knee?
Yes.
Then bend your knees slightly so that you can continue going down here at the top. Otherwise, the pain in the popliteal fossa would limit this stretch here. The pain behind the knee that has more to do with knee problems and overloads down here around the knee. And that's why we're now releasing the tension and more is happening here. And we're already halfway through, Eddie. And for the next minute and a half, you let yourself go further and further down. Yes. Now it probably stretches here, right? If it stretches here, then it is in the left knee.
In the left knee as well.
Then you bend a little more. Yes, the knee is practically out of the stretch. Yes. Keep going further down. And now we stretch out these tensions here at the back, which are ultimately reactive tensions against the shortenings at the front. This is our hypothesis, right? But we are in the process, we have established a scientific department, and we are in the process of researching all of this scientifically. But for 30 years, this model of reality that we experience with patients has held up. And in this respect, one can use it as a working hypothesis. One can explain it well to the patients, to you, at home on the screen, as well as to the affected person, so that one can understand what is happening in the body. Now we have 15 seconds left, Eddie.
Okay.
And then you slowly come up again. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the 2 minutes are up. Now let's do a little hip swing. Feel it. Even if you didn't have back pain.
Yes, but I noticed that.
Especially in older people who sit down. Good, what Eddie says. Yes, I always say that, for example, with the walker. These poor people eventually become so shortened in the front that the back muscles can no longer compensate for it. And please, if you know someone, maybe a relative or even in the family, with a walker, how do people walk with a walker? Exactly what Eddie says. Namely like this, with very small tiptoe steps, because everything up here has become shorter, the whole area here is tense, and everything is getting stiffer and stiffer. And that is then the end result. And this is ultimately trained through sitting and other positions. And what one can train oneself there, we are totally convinced, one can also untrain. And this is how the body ultimately works. Yes, in this sense, do you have any suggestions for the viewers? Stand up from the desk and move. And move. Always get up in between. If you have 8 hours of desk work, then every 2 hours, lean back and forward. And the chance is high that you feel completely different. Eddie and Roland say ciao.
Goodbye.
And up here you will find even more exercises that can help you.